Right, so I'm supposed to be studying. There's building work going on next door. Can't concentrate. Shouldn't complain. I'm in the industry myself. But anyway, so I thought I'd take the opportunity to just let you guys discuss how I use various hooks, plastics, etc. And well, more the rigging techniques than the actual fishing of the lure. But I'll just start off with the probably most common and easily recognizable lead head or jig head, as you guys call it over here. It's extremely versatile. I'll use this on almost any plastic that you can throw. You can use this on paddle tail, straight tail, crawl, you name it, man. It's a good all-round lure, good all-round lead to have in your box, and obviously, you know, keep as many different hook sizes, weights of lead you can. Because I mean, you wouldn't want to use this 3.0 on a little grass meadow like that, you know, because you're going to be killing the action of the lure first of all, and secondly, you'll be shredding it to pieces, sliding it over that bit of lead there. I mean, you know, kind of match the hatch, something a little smaller I might put on there, or ideally, what I like to do is if I'm fishing through sparse vegetation, like, you know, nothing too heavy that I'm going to get stuck in, I like throwing this little guy, which is a bottom up jig from Eco Gear. It's a great little thing. It's got this little wire guard on here, and while it doesn't look like much, it actually does bounce off a lot of trees and stuff. I wouldn't go chucking it in the middle of the tree looking for fish, but it's great for sparse cover. If there's a few branches sticking up, chuck out, wind it in. I mean, the other times I'll throw an open jig head. The best times are if you're not fishing too many snags, man, because a lot of these things hook not just fish, but everything else in the water. So, for example, yesterday I was out, found some fish on the Thames, suspending in 15 foot in around 24-25 foot of water. So I knew this was not going to hit the bottom. I'd cast it out, count it down, crank it in, and they would take it, you know. With the exposed hook, the hookup ratio is really high, and the fish seldom get off. Whereas on a Texas rig, for example, you know, where the hook's kind of embedded, you still got to give quite a hook set, and the fish have more of a chance to spit it. But yeah, man. Moving on to the next thing. You know, there's the you get your wide gap hooks here, which is this is a 4 EWG extra wide gap, and you get worm hooks, which is this is the same 4 worm hook. I think this is a VMC. I mean, you can see basically the same length, just the wide gap has a wider gap, so it gives it more bite. For example, when you're using thick bodied plastics or swim baits or shads, something like this, you know, I would definitely use this hook. And a quick tip on these bolts, which I actually picked up on the UKLF page, somebody posted on there, is they've got this belly slit for the hook to go in, but it's not very deep, man. It's a couple of mil. So what the guy suggested is taking a blade, a knife, carefully just cutting that a little bit deeper, so that there's less plastic and less resistance when you set the hook on that. But I wouldn't, if I can get away with it, use an extra wide gap of this size, a 4.0, on the bait, but you've got to match the hook to the bait. For example, something like this, which has got quite a thin body, I mean, yeah, you can use a wide gap on there, fine, but I would go with a worm hook, to be honest, because it's designed for like ribbon tail worms, plastic worms. You don't need that much bite to pop it through the plastic. And although a perch will get this in their gob, you know, a decent sized perch, I'd much rather have this in there, because I feel it's going to suck it in its mouth with a lot less resistance. You know, it's not, the hook's not going to bump off the edges or anything, letting the fish take it in and giving you more time to set the hook. Then as for different rigs, I mean, you get the if I'm fishing swim baits through heavy cover, or like soft jerk baits, I'll use a belly weighted hook. On a wide gap, this is where I do prefer it. I've not actually seen worm hooks weighted. You can weight your own with a bit of lead or a bit of soldering on. They're great they give a great action, a great fall. I'll even use them on creature bait sometimes, you know, just depending on the situation. Then you get the good old Texas rig, which is a little wide gap or worm hook with a bullet weight sinker, which you'll rig up Texas or weedless, which is where you put the hook through like so, bring it up, turn it around, pop it back out like that. I don't know if you can see there. And then what I like to do is skin hook it, just pinch it back. And there you can see literally just the tip is sticking through. Then you got your weights on the top, which you can peg. Well, I peg them with a toothpick, which I wouldn't recommend because A, it's hard to get the toothpick out the lead unless you drill it out sometimes. And B, you got the toothpick pressing against your line, which can potentially cause a snap off. And one great little thing which I actually got from Barry at the tackle, the lure box, I think this is called a suicide jig head or rig or whatever. It's basically a little wide gap hook with basically the bullet weights already molded on, so no worry about pegging it. And I really do like these little things. They've got a cool action as well, a bit of a different glide through the water with that weird little shaped lead. Yeah, man. Then as for Carolina rigs, well, I tend to use them when I'm fishing large expanses of water with lots of underwater humps, etc. They're really good for making a long cast and just working it back when the fish aren't that active. But anyway, I hope this has helped you guys out at all. I'll probably post a few more of these type things. See how it goes, man. Anyway, there's no substitute for time on the water, so get out there, fish hard, and just remember every day's a school day, whether you're catching or not, man, because you learn a lot more from the days you're not catching than the days you are. See you later.